and welcome to another sponsor discussion for the Big Wool Show. Today we have Wendy from Beersheba Farm. Wendy, how are you going?
Oh, just fine. Just really good, just really wet.
So just so that everybody who's watching knows, we've just been chatting for 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
it's weird me asking, how are you going? Uh, Wendy, you've been a sponsor from the start for the Big Wool Show.
Yes.
What makes you keep coming back?
Well, because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And I think that it's important to have these sorts of events on. I think it's important.
Yeah. I agree with you. Not biased at all, but I definitely agree with
Oh,
you. um, so Beersheba Farm is a farm, and you have
yes.
the live animal things with the
Yes.
legs and the noises.
Mm-hmm.
What sheep are you running right now?
Okay, so I have my English Leicesters, and I have some Drysdale still, being a very, very rare breed. And what do we have? I do have some Merinos left, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly I've got my Castledales, which are the breed of my own design.
Your own
Shall we say?
creation.
Yes.
I've
A
said this
crossbreed of
before,
my own.
of your own sheepies.
Yes.
And I have said this before, and I am going to say it again, how much I love Castledale. Like, I thought I was like, Merino all the way, and now I'm like, yeah, Merino, yeah, Castledale. That's where I'm at, because it's still beautiful and soft, but it just seems stronger and less pilly, and all the things I actually don't like about Merino, the Castledale doesn't have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a crossbred that I just wanted to have all those advantages that the stronger wools have. And when I say stronger, I mean um, slightly broader in micron,
Yeah.
but still handle really nice. Like
Yeah.
handle and be sort of a, yeah, I sort of, I aim for it to feel silky.
Yeah.
I
I
suppose
think
is the
I
best
think
kind of way.
you have achieved that. It's such a beautiful spin. I was just showing Wendy just before we started pressing record that I've actually just finished spinning some Castledale, and I'm like, I love this one. But it is just a delight to spin. It's nearly like you just throw it at the wheel and it becomes
Yeah.
yarn. There's no fighting with it. There's no like crazy amounts of preparation in the braids, and that's not just down to the sheep, that's also in how you handle the braids when you're dyeing them. It's just you handle them seemingly with such care. I mean, I know you, and it's probably more like a
No, well, I have learnt to go slow. So I
yeah,
probably have more pots, less speed, a little bit to
yeah,
try and pace myself, because when I rush it, I stuff it up
yeah,
basically. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what I've done sometimes, but you go, I don't know what I did there, but those ones don't tend to go sold.
They
They're in the naughty
become,
bin.
well, wouldn't they look good processed as bats, like in mixed up in mixed bags as bat food? Like, that's what I call what
Some of
I'm
them,
feeding into a
yes.
drum
When
carter.
I get around to actually making the bat food bags,
Yeah.
that's really good. Some of them are from not recently, I will admit, but I've got a stash of. I will weave with this
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that was usually the merino, not the
Yeah. They're not the
my merino
Castledale.
tends to
Because
felt just
merino
by looking at it.
is, yeah, that's the thing with merino. You can't breathe on it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I personally struggled spinning with merino is I have very hot hands,
Yep.
and it's hot here, and perspire and my hands get sweaty. And there you go, heat and moisture and
movement.
motion, and that's
Yay.
enough to felt the fiber in your hand that you're trying to spin. You're like, how are you a little felty mess?
That's right. Yeah. Yes.
But I don't get that with the Castledale. Like, my hands are still hot. They still get a bit sweaty, but I don't have the same destruction ratio.
Yes, it is a little bit more forgiving, shall we say?
It's a bit kinder. It's a bit kinder. Yeah. So you have the Castledale, but you also have a blend of Castledale as well.
Yes. So the farm blend, so to speak, that's my own blend, takes my merino and my Castledale and a little sprinkle of several different types of silk just for funsies.
Yeah.
And mostly because when you dye those things up, like it's got that bit of silk in it, it's just pretty cool.
I don't mind a little bit of silk.
Actually, it's not a huge amount of silk, but it's just enough to give a visual.
Yeah.
But there's something about it's actually not a huge amount of Castledale either in it, because it can take over. I know when some people have bought it for bats, it's got so much boof. But you put a little bit of boof into the merino, and then the merino, like it
creates a beautiful lofty yarn.
Beautiful, but it's just it's a lovely yarn. It just sort of opens it up just that little bit.
Yeah.
But a lot of that's due to the fact that I get it combed down at Cashmere Connections, and they do a stunning job.
Yeah. Yeah. So that blend, that's your Duchess blend that you're describing there?
Yes. Yeah, that's my Duchess blend. So there's a bit of that around.
There's a bit.
Mischief.
Sorry?
She gets into mischief, and the Duchess does. I have a bit of fun with their names on the Duchess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, and last year you had a little bit of yarn. Do you have some yarn this year?
Yes, I still have some of my Maggie's yarn, which is an Australian 22 micron merino with a bit of nylon. So it's called a sock yarn, but it's not superwash.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we could go down that rabbit hole that anything that they claim is superwash has
left the country.
Unless it's really old, been hanging around for ages.
Yeah, it's got to be at least from the early 90s. Is that right? Like late 80s, early 90s?
I guess. I'm not entirely sure when the CSIRO or whoever it was sold the tech.
The superwash, yeah.
Yeah, but the superwash and the Optum and all that sort of stuff, that all went offshore.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah. I actually used to like using Optum, but I haven't used it in years now.
Yeah, I saw some early on when I started dyeing, and I haven't seen it for years.
No, I haven't seen it for a very long time. But yeah, it was an interesting one. For people that don't know what Optum was, it was basically a merino that had been steamed and stretched and lost all its crimp and acted more like a silk, but was still pure wool.
Yeah, I can't remember whether they treated it with something else as well. But anyway, yeah, they stretched it or did something.
The crimp didn't come back. Like you washed it, and it's not coming back.
I think at the time it was being developed or was developed that there was a pretty big premium for fine wool, and the only way you could get the really fine wools often was to hunger fine them, and then of course the strength of the fiber was compromised.
Yeah.
And so it was a way of trying to get like a 24 micron and get it to stretch out, and it acts like an 18.
Feel and slinky and soft.
More, worth more money or something like that. I could be wrong. Feel free.
I'm not sure why they decided to start doing it, but I mean, they stopped.
All about the money.
It's not done here anymore.
And then they improved the genetics enough of the merinos and stuff that basically it got to a point where they were able to have them a good micron almost regardless of the feed.
Yeah.
And so it's a genetic, like they stayed and they could have a much more steady supply. And so then and whether it took certain chemical processes that weren't friendly, I don't know. I can't remember. It's a little bit.
Can't imagine it would have been too friendly, to be honest. Like with what went in and what comes out, I think there was some serious action happening on it.
Yeah, and whether there's some serious issues with the way that it behaves too, that spun up as yarn, it might not have behaved long term as well as other types of wool.
Yeah, and not being able to plan for the changes. I'm just trying to think if I've got something that I made with the Optim and see what it's like now, like after so many years. I'll have to have a look. I don't know. I think I actually gifted everything. I don't think I've got any of it left. But yeah, so creating new ways to sort of process and look after our fibers. Like the CSIRO has always been pretty good at, well, I mean, it's a research facility, so you'd want to hope they're pretty good at research. But I do like, while they don't continue it on, I think it's still interesting that they do try these things as well. But so you've got your Castledales and you've got your Leicesters and your Drysdales. And you've just finished your lambing season, so there's lots of new bebbers. Are you doing baby sponsors this year?
Oh, it's on the website. It's an option. I don't push things too hard. I don't.
Okay.
I go through phases if people want to. That's fine.
It's there. It's there if you want to sponsor a sheepy baby.
I haven't managed to focus on too many individual lambs this year. It got a bit busy, and to be honest, it was raining so much I didn't get as many photos at times as I have sometimes. So
it's been a very trying year.
It's been reasonably relentless, although I mean, July wasn't too bad here. It sort of hasn't stopped raining since.
And like we were saying before, it's one of those things you don't want to complain too hard about the fact that it's been raining so much, because we don't know, like, when this stops, how long is it going to stop for?
That's right. I mean, someone could turn the tap off and then not be able to turn it back on again, and then we'll still be in trouble.
Exactly right. It's like this serious balancing action, and it's just like, can we please just stop just for now, not forever, just for now. Let's just let everything dry out just a little. Let's let the tradies catch up with their backlog of work, so we can fix everyone's houses.
Yeah, and I'm on a hill, so and it's still sodden. Everything just sodden.
I can't get over that. Gosh.
Yeah.
So
I've got standing water on a hill, on slopes, but yes.
I don't even know how that can
happen. It's something to do with the. Look, I can't remember my water hydrology lessons.
I never had hydrology lessons.
But yeah, no, it's there. As long as it doesn't go too sort of black waterish, it'll be fine. I mean, I've never had so much. Look, it's been probably 30 years since we've had so much grass on the place. So there you go. I'm not going to complain about that.
The sheepies are happy right now, except for their damp.
Well, they'd be happy if there was a bit of sunshine and they could dry out a bit. They're a bit peeved.
Yeah. I can't imagine walking around in a wet jumper all day with the rain just thundering down on me.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty darn tough.
Yeah, I mean they are animals. Like they live outside.
It will encourage selection for sheep whose fleece can handle this weather.
That's true.
Because not everyone. The problem is if it warms up too much now, we'll have so many flies and horrible things, and you can't get at them to shear them, to clean them up, because they're so wet to handle them. But,
and you can't just stand there with a blow dryer. Like, hi, come on, your turn.
I did put the pet lambs in the shed last night to give them some respite.
Yeah.
To have a dry night, shall we say.
Well, that's something. That's something. Yeah. Gosh. So you had a big year. You've got your little lammies are done. So we're creeping towards Christmas, and you usually have an advent calendar.
Yes.
So you're getting all
Okay.
that sorted, and all that sort of stuff is happening. If
Mhm.
you wanted one, you've missed out, basically, and I'm just rubbing it in.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh,
So
but you never know. I might come up with something.
see.
Oh,
See,
stay tuned.
you've got it. You've just got to keep your ears peeled and make
That's
sure you
right.
follow Wendy on the socials as well. Wendy, it's Beersheba Farm that is your Instagram handle, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm gonna make it Beersheba with correct spelling, I believe. Beersheba
Yes,
Farm, no S on the end.
that's right. No S.
Okay, did I do it right?
Yes.
Yay! Awesome. Okay, so make sure you
And there is
follow.
another one. If another one turns up, there is a Beersheba farm in Cornwall in the UK, and they have a
That's not
B&B. So
you.
we follow each other. It's really quite funny. There's an underscore, I think, in there.
Oh my gosh, that's confusing.
I know.
Wow.
Fun.
But yours is an actual farm with animals. It's not a
Yes,
B&B.
correct.
So you're coming on to the Saturday lives,
Yep.
or the weekend lives. I'm not sure which day you've chosen. And you're going to be in your beautiful fibre room.
Hopefully, yes. All we need is the reception to be good, and I will be there.
Yay!
That's the downside. We had to have a really good, secure, connection for this one. So
yeah, because it's a bit
place.
longer. Like the 15-minute one, you can kind of cope, but this one we needed something a bit more stable and solid. And so during the live, we're going to do a giveaway, which is all secret squirrel. We can't tell you any more than that.
That's right.
But you're also you've got your giveaway for the people who are watching the live stream, but you're also doing an extra giveaway for anybody who makes purchases. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm planning.
Wow, I think that'll be amazing as well.
That'll be a cool one.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And that is also Secret Squirrel, which will be announced later. But there's ideas and plannings in the mist that will be revealed. So that is, if you make a purchase over the weekend, all the purchases will go into a draw for an additional prize. Wendy, you and I chat about so much stuff, right? And I'm like, what should we talk about that we can talk about?
How can we talk for an hour? And I thought, well, wait a minute. I come onto your channel sometimes, and we managed to talk quite well for an hour. So
we do. We do. We can definitely talk. Like there's no doubt there. I'm just trying to think. Like, so you've just had show season where you are, and unfortunately you had to have your show cancelled due to the bad weather.
Yes.
What happens then? Is it just totally cancelled, or is it postponed, or?
We tried postponing over the years. We've tried postponing, and to be honest, it's so hard because our showgrounds gets shared with the football club and the cricket club, and then you've got to juggle in between when all the other shows are doing, because there's a pretty tight calendar for shows in the springtime. To try and fit another one in, and we did one year, and it was into the start of December, and it just didn't work. It just was too late. People are busy with other things, and so what we're going to do, I know some smaller shows have managed to reschedule, but we will run the dog competition. I think they're due for December. The horses will probably run in autumn, and so many people wanted the pavilions, and we had all the woolcraft and everything all laid out, and it was going to get judged the next day, and then we had to pack it all up. But what we did get judged, the response was so good that I decided, well, maybe we should try and run a craft flower show in autumn next year. So we'll probably try and do that.
That sounds fun.
A bit more work.
Yeah, like let's just pencil that into your calendar.
Oh yeah, that's not that I'm going to do anything else. But yeah, otherwise it's just the community needs it. It's just because then we've also got the council runs a festival that's supposed to start this coming weekend, and they've already cancelled a whole bunch of activities out of it. So that's making people feel a bit bleh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of these little shows and or not just the little shows, but a lot of the local shows is the word I was trying to get out, not little. They are for the community, and every part of them is in some way helping the community, whether it's just helping people get out and get together, whether it's stall holders being able to sell their wares, local businesses getting local customers. There's so many different ways these sort of events actually help out in local communities that it's really sad to see when they are forced to cancel. So you guys didn't just go, you know what, we're bored, we're not doing it. No, you guys were forced into your decision by, things 100% outside of your control. And I can totally see where the frustration would be, because it's not just that you've done all the work and everything was starting to happen and was just about to go, but it's also knowing that event's not going to run and you're not going to have that interaction with the locals and all that sort of thing. And just, it's like, this feels to me like it would be a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's all run by volunteers, and like you feel like you've let everybody down, but we didn't have a choice.
No.
The police said the estimate is that X amount of water is going to go through the showgrounds, and let's just say that the amount of water that went through the showgrounds, on the show day. So
and that's the thing, like you have to put the health and safety above everything. And the reality is, if that much water going through the showgrounds, people couldn't have gotten there anyway.
No.
Like that.
No,
park your boats over there. Tie your boats to the trees.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the local history group put on their Facebook page, they put up some photos, and the Great Flood of 1906, and sure enough, it's show day, and there's probably 3 foot of water through the showgrounds, and people are up on things, and all the the boxing tent and the rides or whatever they are, they're all more than knee deep in water, and you sort of think, well, there you go, we had a bit more warning this time.
Yeah, but absolutely.
It's happened before.
Yeah. It's so cyclical. It's so cyclical.
Yes.
I still can't get this image of my head out of like really wet sheep that just need a blow dryer.
Yeah, they look miserable.
Oh,
but the little
poor
lambs
things.
Miserable the most.
It's like it was warm when I was in the womb.
Yeah. Oh, look, it wasn't too bad when they were actually lambing. We had a lot of rain in August, but it's still they actually did really well. Like, I didn't lose any to the weather.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
Yeah, I did really well in that department this year, so managed to save a few. Yeah, I only lost a handful, which sometimes is always something, but you don't lose too many.
Well, yeah, you kind of like it sounds a little harsh, but it's kind of expected.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a good old saying: you have live ones, you have dead ones. But death is as natural as life is. So, but like, you want to give them all the chances.
The best chance, yes. And not, I agree with you. Like, anything that you can do to give them a fighting chance is what you do.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is to be a farmer, isn't it?
Yes, and you sort of have to be a little bit. I mean, you have to be soft, but you have to be able to be tough. Otherwise, like it gets you down too much. Otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And on your property, because you've got quite a lot of land, you only run the sheep. You don't have any
Yeah.
crops or any other bits and bobs, so you are 100% reliant on the sheepies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I've always meant to ask that, but I was just I was like, because some
Yeah.
people do the whole
Simple
like,
nothing.
we use this bit for this, and we use this bit for this, and we use this bit for this, and then we rotate them around.
There's only one of you, so it just
Yeah.
I can only get around so much myself, and I don't employ anyone, so
So it really is just you look after
it's just
everything.
me.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
that's a bit tough sometimes, but
I can imagine that would be a heavy load. So the sheep came first, and then the sheep development, and then the dying. Is that right?
yes. Yep.
So what made you decide to start having your sheep more for the hand spinners market? Like, what made you decide not to just sell it by the bale to the, big co-ops or anything like that, and just do it this way?
Okay. The merino I would just send off,
Yeah.
and it would go to auction. Of course, only small quantities of bales because it's only a small place, and
Yeah.
there's a bit of a risk in that. And anyway, I was trying to have another, not have all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I was trying to breed using what I've got, breed a sheep that could raise a really good lamb for market.
Mm-hmm.
And I was mucking around with a few things. And in the process, neighbour down the road taught me how to spin, or at least play with wool.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, I really should. I honestly can't even remember exactly what I was thinking, except that I should learn something, like it's a way of
Well, you can
I get
understand the fiber
I get
better
some
when you're
knowledge of,
using it.
yeah. So yes, and then I was really peeved because the crossbreds I was working with, I got really bad prices. Well, I mean, like in comparison to merinos, because
Yeah.
in the commercial world, you've got merino, and then
Yeah.
everybody
And then
else.
everything.
So anyway, and I'm just like, but this is really nice. It looks pretty, and it's shiny, and it's this and that thing. And so, and I'd been using it, and I thought, well, this spins really nice. I don't know what they're on about. And then my sister-in-law came to visit, and she had also picked up spinning.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, she wanted to spin something. And so I said, oh, well, here's this fleece. And so I had a raw fleece. And, oh, this is amazing. And she thought it was really good. So then I gave it to someone else, and then they thought it was really good. And that was Raylene.
Yeah.
And so then she convinced me to get it processed.
Oh. So we're blaming Raylene now, are we?
Was. That's fine. I thoroughly approve of being, led astray in this manner. So yes, with her a support and encouragement, we got started.
Yeah.
And then I had to come up with a special name, and we live on Castle Hill, so they're the Castledales.
I love that.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was Raylene who talked you into doing the first, because does Raylene still run the Bale project?
The Aussie Bale project? Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Yes. So the part of the cunning plan, I suppose, was I was started getting into the the online groups and things with hand spinners, and I kept seeing references to Blueface Leicester, and this was starting to irritate me because, well, they're overseas and they're not here. And I thought, there's so much wool here. Like, even with my limited experience, I knew that there was so much wool that people, the average person wouldn't ever see, because it goes straight to the processing, and you just don't see it, but it's there. And it's,
I hadn't seen Drysdale fleece until I'd seen the sample that you had at Bendigo one year.
Yeah, Drysdales had fallen out of common during the 90s.
Yeah.
The price for carpet wool and everything just utterly collapsed.
Yeah.
So everyone just ditched them.
Yeah.
But they were always a specialist thing as well. Like, I mean, that was a specialist carpet wool, and it went direct to the carpet manufacturers. It didn't even go to, I don't think many hand spinners would have played with it unless they happened to have known someone who had them.
Yeah.
But
it's bizarre, isn't it? Like Dorper and Bond and everyone's got them. Like, all the farms have got some around, but it's not until you know someone who has one that you can actually get to touch it and understand the differences between it. Because, like, as a hand spinner, everyone talks about merino.
Yeah, especially here in this country.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not bad. Like, I don't think merino is bad or anything like that. But I just think that there's so much more.
There's a lot to try, and I think there's a lot that we can learn about choosing the right wool for our project.
Yes, the right wool for the right job. Yeah.
And so some, your Border Leicesters, your English Leicesters, the Corridales are fantastic for a whole range of different products, but you wouldn't necessarily do your coats with them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the merinos, we're so used to it being ubiquitous, but over in Europe, of course, it's more likely to be one of the other breeds. So, yes, and then when I was in the UK and I happened to souvenir myself a hank of Blueface Leicester yarn, and I felt it, and I went, feels like crossbreed.
I actually like Blueface Leicester. I love how it gets the little halo on it.
Some of it, but it's like there's merino and there's Blueface Leicester and there's Blueface. I mean, like, is it really for one? Let's just say this is my controversial thing for the day.
Bring it. Let's have it.
For the amount of fleece that each sheep of those sheep produces, and they only produce 1 to 2 kilos of fleece a year.
Yeah.
And the number of them in the UK. Let's just say there's an awful lot available as wool.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is a lot of substitution in the commercial wool trade. If it meets certain micron criteria or length criteria, they'll call it whichever they want.
Yeah, because it's not like it's got a little label attached to it somewhere that the layman can see the difference.
Yeah, well, or it could be, the good old, well, it's got some in it, and so that's what we'll call it. And so I think, when they talk about the 29 micron merino with various companies, if you push them for clarification, it'll be 29 micron merino cross
mix. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because in this country, merinos are not 29 micron.
No,
by definition, the breed standard is, I think it's under 24.
Yeah.
Or 24 and under. So that's frustrating. I suppose that's where, if you can get it direct from a reputable supplier, then once it's processed,
it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
One of the things I love, especially that you've been doing, is you don't just like have your stuff processed. All your stuff is processed locally.
Yes.
And so when you get your stuff back, it's yours.
Yes.
They haven't added in whatevers to bulk out the weight to charge you more.
That's right.
You know that they're just, here is all my various things. Please blend, mix, do my recipe, and thank you for the completed stuff. And I love that A, you can do that locally, and B, that they're able to do so many steps now, because it's Cashmere Connections that you use for your blending, I think. Is that right?
For the combing and the blend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except you do have access to places for the scouring, for every step that's nice and local. And I don't know. I think that's a special thing, and I'm really happy to see that that's opening up a little bit more and more and more now. Like, there was a long time there where, unless you were in the know, there was nowhere to go to have your fleeces done in under a ton. And I think it's really encouraging to see some of these smaller micro mills trying and working out some different processes to try and have things that aren't all alpaca, because there's tons of alpaca mills. We know it's like that. They may as well not exist to me.
No, well, I mean,
I'm allergic to alpaca, so I can't even get the wool out of those mills, because do they vacuum everything before they start putting the wool? Of course not. It's a working mill.
I do know that the big scour down in Geelong, when they do their annual clean, proper clean, is the only time they'll run black or coloured fibre through.
Yeah.
And they will literally go over the entire machine.
With with tweezers, basically.
Tweezers, seriously. And
because they don't want any of that coloured fleece to mix into the white. No.
Yeah, so I mean, when I've had to do coloureds or whatever in my shed, before I do my merino shearing, if I've done the carpet wool or whatever, I will vacuum.
Yeah. Okay.
Because modulated fibres in it are not. I mean, I want my stuff to maintain its low prickle factor.
Yeah. I get that.
Yep.
So you don't want to accidentally have cross contamination.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
No. It would be easier if I only had one line of sheep, but where's the fun in that?
Well, yeah. Where would be the fun in that?
I know.
So are you growing your herd, or is it a flock? Is it a flock or a herd? I don't know.
It's a flock. Sheep are flocks.
A flock. Cattle are herds.
Yes.
Okay. So are you growing your flock, or have you got a static number that you need to keep because of land size and what have you?
Yeah, I'm trying not to get too big. So, because otherwise, then it's
too hard to manage.
Yep. And then you've got to feed more or whatever. And it's
stupid sheep want to be fed all the time.
I don't want to, graze down the paddocks too hard.
Yeah.
Either.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. This has been such a chat of so many different things.
That's the way it goes.
It is the way it goes.
Talk about. Yeah.
Yep. It's like shiny things.
Yes. We're very attracted to shiny things.
Yes, we are. And squishy things.
Yes. Very, very squishy. There was something I was going to tell you, and I can't remember what it is now, so that's obviously...
Sorry about that. In our conversation of many things, one of the things was... I'm just looking at my list. So I've got sheep, wool, Castledale, rain.
Rain.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
The grass is growing, but at this rate, I'm going to have to give the lambs a vitamin injection to help boost them, because they're not getting a lot of sunlight.
Oh, of course. I never even considered
that. They do better on sunshine. Lambs grow on sunshine. Yeah.
I didn't even... It didn't even just, do you know what I mean? It's just not something I'd ever considered.
The last fortnight especially has been really dull. We had one day where the sun came out and it was like,
it's like push on, get in the sun, space out,
like,
no shadow on each other.
You spend so much time going, oh, this is wonderful, that all of a sudden think, wait a minute, I need to be running out there doing all this stuff.
Oh no. Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, but, I hope you get some sun soon.
Thank you.
And I hope that it doesn't dry out too long. If that makes sense. Like, you know, we'd like a nice even balance, please. Environment. Yep. I'm asking for way too much there. I know. Unrealistic expectations. Yep. But we will see you for the Big Bull Show weekend. You'll come in and do a special live with us, which I love doing those lives. Yes. And we will have our fast track 15 minutes. And we will see you there, Wendy.
Okay. That will be very much fun. And I'll have to try and think of something extra fun to do.
We'll see how you go.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. We'll see you then. You have an awesome one.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Bye.